So this is the obligatory video that I make pretty much every year where I talk about the latest update brought to the iPhone. So in 2025, this is iOS 26, and um, there's some stuff to talk about, but I'm going to try to make this short, but we can just jump right into it. So the pride and glory behind iOS 26 is that it looks vastly different from previous versions of iOS. And it's definitely stirred up its fair share of controversial opinions from the different subreddits that relate to Apple and iPhone and this particular update. And maybe it does make you feel like this if you start it long enough. But at the end of the day, it is preference, and if you prefer to go back to a previous version of iOS, say 18, then you're kind of out of luck because it is quite a tedious and cumbersome process. Next up is Apple Intelligence, which is something that I said when I did the iOS 18 video that would not be a significant impact on people's usage of that update. And I will say the same thing with iOS 26, that it will continue to not be a significant impact on people when they use their phones. Okay, we can move on to the clock app, and more specifically, the alarm on the clock app. And I can't believe that I'm actually putting this as a quote unquote significant change in this update, but for a lot of people, apparently it is significant because you can now change the snooze timer of the alarm clock. Now, I did a double take on this because I was thinking that this was kind of a lack thereof type thing for iPhone, because Android has actually already had this feature for a while now. And sure enough, I checked my Android phone and it does in fact exist already on there, because I've never actually changed the timer for the snooze. But it's good that Apple has finally come around to implementing this feature. Alright, we can take a look at the Photos app now. So you can see that they revamped it a little bit. So we no longer have this endless scrolling to the Photos app, which on iOS 18, you can see on the right side here, that's what it was, just endless scrolling through photos. And then on the left side, you can see iOS 26, which is the slightly revamped version. And you're gonna hear me talk about this aspect of UI design on basically any mobile app. Uh, you need this bottom navigation bar if you want to make your app functional at all. It depends on the level of complexity of the app, but for most apps, especially for something like the Photos app, this bottom navigation bar is going to be everything. So you can see I highlighted it. And also at the top here, I highlighted this filter option. I got this thing from the Wall Street Journal's video that they did on iOS 26. But as you can see, they definitely added a key feature that was missing in iOS 18. But as you can see, you can now pretty much filter by any category that you please. Fingers crossed Apple doesn't up the Photos app again. Okay, so the Messages app, they added this feature where you can tell if you're in a group chat who is typing. And at first I was like, oh, this seems like a semi-interesting feature. And then the more I thought about it, I came to the conclusion that it is a little bit weird for anyone to be wondering who is typing currently in a group chat, because I mean, just wondering in general, if even you're talking to one person, if they're typing to you, is a little bit strange unless it's an emergency. But in 99% of situations where you're not dealing with an emergency, it's a little bit strange if you are wondering who is actively typing in the group chat, because it kind of gives the impression that you might be messaging people too much, because you have this weird level of anticipation that maybe a certain person will respond to something that you said. And then if they don't respond, then you're going to be wondering, well, are they just ignoring me? So anyway, yeah, it's kind of a strange feature, and I would honestly be eager to find out if you can turn that off. Uh, but maybe that's just me, and I think that it would be better as an option, but hopefully it is just an option. Now, what I think would have been a nice feature, and I've talked about this in previous versions of iPhone software, is the ability to leave a conversation if one, you are in a group conversation with an Android user, and two, if you are in a group conversation with three people. And you can check this if you happen to be in a conversation on the Messages app with two other people. You will see, like it says right here, that there is a leave this conversation text box, but it would be grayed out like so, which obviously means that you won't be able to leave. And the only way that you can't leave it. So, you can hide alerts, like the option is here, but that's the only thing you can do. You cannot leave it, and I think that would be a nice addition to the Messages app. And last but not least, you can now send definitely not awkward money requests in group messages chats, which people would definitely accept and pay you back for. And that's going to be it for this video. iOS 26, ladies and gents. Thanks for watching.